In August of 2022, I made a video about finding a lost Megaten game. I didn't really actually find it first, but you know. In my video, I talk about the search and as much info as I could find at the time, so you can go ahead and watch that if you want. Thanks to my good old buddy Frank, the man who has the most complete Conoco art collection I've ever seen, I was able to find more information to understand the game a bit more. A good start is the term Devil Busters. It makes its first appearance in Megami Tensei 2 as a mysterious video game that presents a top-down dungeon crawler with first-person combat. It also appears in the Devil Buster Busters from Devil Summoner, who are Jack and Pyrojack, and they are out to kill any Devil Buster. And also in Persona 3, the MMO that they play in the Japanese version is called Devil Busters Online. Now in reference to this lost game, we have to talk about Sims. Not the franchise of quirky little video games, but the game dev company, founded in Tokyo, Japan in 1991. They released many games, including the Mega Drive version of Tetris. They also released Outrun 2019, and has quite a few games that were announced but never released. That's foreboding. They also made the Mega CD version of Shin Megami Tensei, which was released February of 1994, as well as the Game Gear version of Last Bible, which was released in April of 1994. So in my old video, we discussed how in the April 1993 Beep Mega Drive Appendix, we get info about the Shin Megami Tensei 1 Mega Drive game, as well as Devil Buster. At the time, I used some pretty low quality photos I found online to go over the game, but now I have that appendix myself, along with many images that were provided by Frank. Thanks again for that. And now I can provide a lot more details. Based on the 1993 April GameFan, this game was actually meant to release May of 1993. This is also confirmed in Beep Mega Drive March 1993, where they say the same thing. Though in the April 1993 Mega Force magazine, it actually says that it's supposed to come out in Japan in July of 1993. Let me describe the game using all the articles combined in a weird amalgam. In 1999, the door to the demon world opened with a nuclear explosion. The stage of the story is Tokyo, which was devastated by the outbreak of World War II and became a Makai city. In the year 2110, 100 years after the battle against the demons led by the former Demon King Satan, the demons once again challenged humanity. 2 humans and 1 demon fight to prevent the resurrection of the Demon King. Sims' new action game is attractive because of its unique atmosphere. Each of the main characters has a different attack method. First is the Spirit Swordswoman, who uses a thunder-based sword as her main weapon, and can summon 5 different spirits. Next is the man in the power suit. He was a member of the anti-demon unit and wears reinforced clothing and fights with 3 different weapons. And then there's the demon who rebelled against his comrades against the resurrection of the Demon King. The enemy characters that appear are made up of demons from north, south, east, and west, and all of them are formidable. Can you stop the resurrection of the Demon King? Go through 5 stages of the Makai. The game is set in the demon world, the home of the demons, who plan to revive the Demon King Satan. The demon world is divided up into 5 stages, which are each based on the elements: fire, water, wind, rocks, and chaos. You can select the order in which you play up to the 4th stage, meaning this was going to be the first game for Atlus's Megami Tensei franchise made by Sims. Based on the tiny bit of info from that, we know that the release date was approximately May 1993, and it didn't just appear in magazines in Japan, but also French magazines and even GameFan and the Electronic Gaming Monthly's April 1993 issue. And the first time it was mentioned was actually seemingly in 1992, in the Beep Mega Drive November 1992 issue. This just features some sketch art and says the game is tentatively titled Majin Tensei. Very fitting because it's about demons. In this short description, it talks about having a spirit swordsman, a power suit, and a demon warrior. So although most of the articles I got my hands on were relatively scant in terms of new information, the main thing that seemed to be the case is that the game was done or in very near done, with some of the various articles featuring new screenshots, art, and details, and nothing really ever contradicted each other. We know it was called Majin Tensei at first and then became Devil Buster, The game was in production way back in 1992. We know that it was supposed to be one player or multiplayer and was set to come out in 1993, first in March and then in July. We could also assume the game would have released in Japan at least, but possibly would have been released in French and English, since Japanese, French, and American magazines covered the game. And even further, the game uses a lot of English. Actually, none of the screenshots have Japanese in it. And that's really exciting in and of itself. After March came and passed, a magazine in France called Consoles released the most extensive explanation of the game in June of 1993. In one of his millennial predictions, Nostradamus, who had lived in the Middle Ages, predicted the end of the world in the year 1999 in one of his quatrains. Time is up, and now a series of unexplained incidents seems to confirm the magician's prophecies. Thus, an entire city decimated in an apocalyptic explosion. As Nostradamus also predicted, evil forces are attacking our world. The only solution to prevent this nightmare is to send a mystical hero to the realm of evil. He will have to travel through the 4 kingdoms and, after defeating their guardians, bring back the 4 elemental essences of the Philosopher's Stone, those of fire, earth, water, and wind. Only the stone can end the curse. For this mission, one which the survival of humanity depends, 3 potential candidates have been recruited. They were chosen for their psychic qualities, their ability to fight against magic spells, and above all else, their bravery in battle. The first has a metal armor with extraordinary resistance. The second, Devil Warrior, has the appearance of Lucifer, with 2 horns and wings on his back. The third is none other than a swordsman who is particularly agile and fast. Each of them has a kind of guardian angel. Flying around their masters, they protect them by opening fire on their enemies. But too many hits will cause them to disappear until you have an adequate bonus. You will be able to obtain increasingly powerful weapons. As you might have understood, this cartridge is 100% shoot 'em up, equipped with horizontal scrolling on 2 or 3 planes, but unfortunately not full screen. It has neat and detailed decorations. Finally, an advantage that deserves to be mentioned: 2 players can simultaneously leave to face the Infernal Legions. Nostradamus' predictions came true. In 1999, the end of the world is approaching. The forces of evil are preparing to overwhelm everything. The cities are destroyed, the continents disappear. Only a warrior with mystical powers can fight against the course of events. In Devil Busters, you'll have the ability to fly. It's very practical given the topology of the levels, especially this one, the wind. Flamethrower Robot is a great support to fight against giant pirate heads. The background decorations, especially the statues, are impressive in their detail. End of level bosses are, as usual, formidable. This one looks like a multi-headed worm. He writhes, throwing fireballs. This is the world of rocks. There are 4 worlds, and each one of them corresponds to the primordial elements of the alchemists. Their conquest will give you the means to prevent the apocalypse. Yes, the backgrounds are superb. The enemies tend to repeat themselves a bit from level to level. Weapons are collected as you go. They measure your victory, and here, have a device that projects a jet of acid. Whichever warrior you choose, you will have a guardian. If you are attacked from behind, it will turn around to fight them, allowing you to deal with those in front of you. If you choose the Devil Warrior, he will take on the appearance of a little devil. Be careful though, he is not invincible, and after a certain number of impacts, you will have to do without its presence. A bit of repeated information, but again, some of these images are new to this article, and the implications to me is that they saw or played the game. And then July came and went, and we thus passed the second prophesized release month. All's not lost though. The last real nuggets came from Beep Mega Drive for July 1993, and it didn't look good. By the way, Sims is currently working on Devil Buster and Shin Megami Tensei. Actually, there are various rumors about Devil Buster I mentioned earlier. Originally, the game was for arcades, but due to various circumstances, it was changed to a Mega Drive game. And during that time, one unexpected thing after another happened to the staff. The first was a programmer who contracted hemorrhoids, and ended up being hospitalized. Since then, 2 others have suffered the same thing. Next, a graphic designer came down with a fever of unknown origin. And finally, a planner had a nighttime mishap when he touched something squishy in his sleep. What was it? When he looked inside the bedding, he found a huge caterpillar-like thing that was about 2 to 6 centimeters in diameter. It was gone the next day, but after this, the planner was a mess and had a uterine infection. The control board burned for unknown reasons, and so the project members were afraid of the devil's attack. They decided to go and pray for it, and once the prayer was finished, the project progressed. But other than the sudden change of the project into a Mega CD game, everything went smoothly. Then the planner had a sore throat and was hospitalized again. They had to have surgery. There were many programmers and others who had been annoyed with swollen tumors, but nothing had happened to their self-proclaimed devil. So the Shin Megami Tensei project is progressing slowly. It should have appeared in a toy show, but even at the stage of writing this, the Megami Tensei team is seriously thinking about whether or not this will pay off. So it seems to me that in the end it was cancelled by Atlas. As based on that last sentence, the Megami Tensei team probably deemed it would not pay off. So that was a lot to read and it was pretty cursed. I wondered if this contributed to the fears that Atlas had of their developments being cursed, but I think that pretty much wraps up the mystery. Sadly, it does indeed look like the game was either finished, near finished, whatever, and I do think this is probably the most complete Vaporware story we'll ever get. I'm gonna consider this case closed for now, unless Atlas and Sims want to give me a copy to play. What do you guys think? Are you sad we didn't get the Devil Buster arcade cabinet? Cause I sure am. Thanks again, Frank, for all the useful information that really got me to write this update video in a single day. Thank you to my channel members, A Lie Remains a Lie, Car Megiddo, and FF12 Kid. A small update, I'm pushing back my 13th month video till after I receive my backer reward so I can fully assess the game and have assets for the video and fill in some missing gaps. The SMT 5 documentary might be the next video to come, so if there's another huge gap in videos, that's because I'm working on that video. The script is pretty much done, but I have some fun little goodies that I want to include in the video, and the next huge documentary will be the Persona 5 one. I'm still reading the like 80 interview books, liner notes, art books, everything. I'm not even really at the writing stage for that video yet. I'm also taking a trip to Japan in March, so that will slow down production. But I am collaborating with Kid Capes, and that means that we're going to be doing a cool Nocturne video pretty soon. So if you want to support the channel, become a channel member, or just like, comment, and subscribe. Boost me in the algorithm. Buy my merch. Happy New Year and goodbye, fellow Megatenists.